Hello, YouTube! I am Pinstar, and this is Transport Fever 2 Strategy and Tactics, Episode 7. So, in our last episode, we did a little bit more expanding. We cleaned up some routes, and we also started a couple of experiments with the Dampftram, one of which we are seeing in action right here. This is the Dampftram in Melaneaopolis, and as you can see, it's got the passenger capacity to handle the kind of loads we're dealing with here. So yeah, it's doing well. It's got bringing the people where they gotta go. It's going faster as far as top speed goes. So everything's just ducky with the Dampftram, right? Well, no, you know what? Because I did a little observing, and look at this. This is the Melaneaopolis' one Dampftram. This is the only vehicle that we converted, and we've got minus 20. There were more noise complaints with just the addition of this one Dampftram. We have more noise complaints, and that's unfortunate. Now, I'm not necessarily going to yank it right now because it is doing what it needs to do pretty well as far as the volume goes. But when the next technology rollout comes around, I'll probably be upgrading it away from the Dampftram. So there you have that. Now, enough about the trams. Let's talk about the trains. So if you remember in our last episode, which we've lapsed time just a little bit from, we still have our little engine here. And by the way, I've named all of our trains for our name in-game patrons who did not get their names as cities here. Hang on. So we've got the Air Team Mountain Climber. Hang on, got the Air T 79 Mountain Climber. Got the Espen Express over here for the Melaneaopolis Jetstream City Mega Line here. The Larissa Streamliner going to St. Michael's. The Cameron Comet. For the JC City New Jetstream line, and the Fugazi Foothiller for our Mount Aurelius run here. And of course the Shona Steam Wheeler is going to be the next train we press into service, which was previously the train that was running on the New Jetstream City line. But we've got new plans for you. So that involves this line of track up here. We are going to actually make ourselves our first redundant connection to JC City, where we go straight from Melaneaopolis to JC City. Now, normally in the past we haven't had to do that, and normally I wouldn't do that, but JC City is soon going to become its own hub. New Jetstream City is a hub because it hooks up JC City, St. Michael's, and Melaneaopolis. It's been kind of the big to-do, and Melaneaopolis is absolutely a hub because Melaneaopolis has Joshington, Mount Aurelius, JC City, and New Jetstream City hooked into it. But JC City is soon going to have its own hub nature because our next goal is Boydburg and Milchester. So soon, JC City is going to be kind of a gateway to Greater Horizons. So we want to make JC City a little bit more interconnected, make it a little bit easier for people to get from to and from. So I'm going to experiment here with a little bit of redundancy. Now then, let's do our borrowing of the cash. Back up to 10. The bankers must love me. And yeah, we got to expand this line here. Now, as we can see here, because of the roading here and whatnot, this line's not going to work out so well, but that's fine. It goes where it needs to go. It does what it needs to do. We still want to expand outwards. So let's get another platform on this side here. Bada boom, bada bing, bada bing. And let's get ourselves a thing of track. Thank you, autosave. Like so. And then what we can do is, let's get our miscellaneous gathering holes in here. Since now that JC's cities thing. Now we are going to have to smush a commercial building. There's really no getting around that when it comes to going to Boydburg. But we're not going to Boydburg yet. We want to plug into the bottom here with a second route. And obviously we're going to be going as the crow flies from Melaneaopolis. Because we got a little bit more money to throw around, so we can be a little bit more blunt with the terrain. I still don't want to brutalize it. There's no reason to needlessly mess with it. I am probably going to want to follow the road here a little bit. So let's just build our route and go as we go. I want to dodge this little mountain ridge up here. Let's see. No weird shenanigans this time with our roads. We were getting some weird terrain oddities last time, but that's okay. Yeah, let's hug the road, the inside of the road here for just a little bit. Actually, let's start breaking off because we got that little ridge up there that will no doubt cause some oddities. And then we'll just thread the needle between these two things. And then that should put us in a good place. There's a little boom, like right outside of town, but there's no real dodging that. But that's okay. We can soak up a little bit of whoa, as it balloons into 83. What the Sam heck you doing, game? I was just talking about how economical this route is. And you go and say, oh, another couple inches. Let's do 83,000. Yeah, no, how about not? All right, let's turn off that contour later because now we just want to hook up like this. We can have these two lines. I don't want to say merge. We don't want them to merge specifically because we don't want any signaling shenanigans between the two. But they can run parallel to each other. That's fine. Engineers can wave to each other going back and forth. That's fine by me. Speaking of signaling shenanigans, however, we are going to want to get this part of it hooked up properly with signals because it's got a route plugged into the bottom of it. So we're going to need... Oh, there are signals on the bottom half. That's good. So we just need a pair of signals on the top half to keep those two separated. You gotta keep them separated. Alright, enough of that. Now, before we open up the route here, I had a thunk. So, we, as mentioned before, we want to expand to Boydburg. There's a problem with Boydburg. There's a reason why we haven't gone to Boydburg sooner. And isn't the terrain? The terrain's fine. I mean, it's what we've come to expect here in Death Valley. We can find a good economical path. That's not a problem. The problem with Boydburg is it's the runt of the litter. 63 base population. That's the smallest in the entire region. So the economics are going to be a little bit trickier because we're not going to get the passenger volume. Even if we hook everything up correctly, it's going to be real hard to get the passenger volume that you want. But I have an idea to sort of thwart this, to work around it. And that is as follows. So first things first, let's get ourselves a little track here because we want to factor in some expenses. Yes, we do need to cross this line and smush that one building, and that's an expensive smush. I'm not too happy about that, but there's going to be some more smushing that needs to be done here because I had a thought for Boydburg. Rather than setting up a tram line that's going to be all fussy and whatnot, if we look at our lines here, we got some residentials coming in here, got industrials over here, commercials over here. So we really kind of want something over here. There's a nice big gap for it. Actually, we might not need to do too well. Yeah, we need to do a little smushing. But yeah, here's my plan. Here's my thunk, if you will. What if the entire railway. The entire station serviced the no, we don't want a terminating one. Serviced the entire town. So what if we did something like this? Now, we're going to need to do some smushing, and we're going to need to do some other forms of rearranging. Yeah, these are expensive. Actually, we might be able to get away with it a little bit better. Although, then on the other hand, we might be able to get away with it a little bit better over here. Yeah, see, this is what's tough. You know, I want to do some smushing, but I don't want to do some spending. But sometimes you gotta do some spending. So I think this is what I'm gonna do. If we can get away with it with just one smush, then we should be okay. Yeah, I think this is the better smush. We might do an additional smush. The real question is going to be, can we draw across the loan without clipping this building right here? Actually, let me yeah, this will give me a better idea see there, if we angle it like that, we should be in a good spot to like something like that. One building smush. There we go. Okay. That was painful, but necessary. Now, we are going to need to... We're going to make something fancy out of this place here. First off, we're gonna build another platform. We're not going to use it right away, because that's going to be the platform that services Knowlchester later. But we want to put it there because we don't want something to grow into it and then have to smush it again. Now, another thing that I've been wanting to try out here, and this might work out, this might not work out. I'm going to try to see if I can pull this off without smushing. Is a road, if you will. Now, let's see if we can get these buildings here. Yeah, see, that smushes. We may need to do some additional smushing. See, this building would service everything just fine, but it smushes. Now, what would happen if we go here and do this little one, these little side entrances? This is a footpath for people to get down from there. Now, at the moment, there's nothing there, but can we squeeze in the tiniest of little roads? The teeny tiniest of little roads without smushing. Okay, I've come to the conclusion that we can't make this work. However, we can make something even better work. So here's what we're going to do. We have that little staircase down there. We're going to smush the building. We're going to soak up that double smush. In fact, we're going to go here and we're actually going to say, you know what? We don't want that stupid building here. We want nothing but these side entrances, like there and there and there. And there, and there, and there. I don't actually think you need an actual building for the station to function. Now, here's the gambit that I'm playing at here. We have this road here. We're going to run it alongside here so that each one of our side entrances can plug right into it, like that. We're going to do the same thing for over here. Well, yeah, we're going to get... you know what? I'm not going to bother with that smush, but what I am going to do is build you here. Just going to wrap around it. And we'll build you here. And then that one doesn't need to be built there anyway. But here's the long and the short of it. So remember, the train station traces its walking distance catchment area from where people can get off. This allows the catchment area to come off from any of these points. So if we look at the whole town, we're missing one building. We don't need any trams, and I'm not going to build up a tram station just for one residential building. So yeah, that's how that's going to work. In fact, you know what? I think we're going to even try to dupe the town into growing the way we want it to by putting a road like this. That way, if actually that kind of, did we just add that one and take away this one? How does that work? Yeah. Somehow these people lost access, but these one gained it. I don't get it. But regardless, that should encourage them to grow into this box here, which will automatically fall into my catchment area. So let's get this route a-going. See if we can't get this and our train up with our allotted funds. We got 2.5 million in the bank. Well, borrowed from the bank, but who's counting? Besides the bank. Right. Tracks. All right. I think we'll want to avoid this little ridge right here. Got a nasty little mountain here, but hugging the road at strategic times seems to be good. I'm not going to advocate for a always hug the road at all times type approach. We could dive across, but we want to be on this side of the road, and that seems to make it needlessly snaky. We do not want needlessly snaky. So you know what? I think we're just going to hug the road for this particular route. Yeah, see, that's not too bad. A little bit of gouging, but for the amount of distance we got out of that leg, that's okay. I'm okay with that. In fact, yeah, we're just going to keep hugging this road. It just so happens that the road runs in a nice pattern that we want. Whoop. And then maybe at this point we can start splintering off just a bit because we need to swing around here. Because the other reason why we're putting that there is we're trying to dodge the residentials for noise purposes. Trams are not the only things that make noise, and the one downside to running your train line directly through town like we're doing here is that we're going to get more noise complaints if the residentials decide to grow closer to it, which they very well may. Oh yeah, one more bit of demolition here. We got to knock that factory down. No getting around that. But here's the other thing about this town. Because it is so small, if we get a 10, 20, maybe even 30% noise complaint penalty, what are they going to do? Lose like 5 people? The town is so small that I'm willing to sacrifice noise complaint and growth modifiers for convenience. So I think, if it was a larger town, I would absolutely be, treating it with kid gloves and trying to make sure I minimize the penalties wherever possible. But for this little place, it's an industrial town. It's noisy. All right, you guys got to be used to that by now. Sorry, Boydberg. All right, I see this little bloop that we're gonna have to navigate, but no real getting around it without some serious snaking. A little over the top. That's not the end of the world. That's not the end of the world. And we're golden. Beautiful. Okay, so we got a line with not 1 but 2 stops. And because both of these lines collectively, because Melaneaopolis to JC City is redundant and Boydberg to JC City is a tiny town, I don't think it's going to have much. So what I'm actually going to do, at least to start out with, is we're going to make it a sort of a complex line. So we're going to start off here in Melaneaopolis, and then we're going to go up here to JC City. And then we're going to go from JC City all the way up here to Boydberg. But then we're going to go back and make another stop at JC City, and then from JC City come back down. We're going to ping pong. We're going to have one train do 2 legs until one of those legs becomes popular enough to get its own dedicated train doing its just A to B back and forth. So that's my game plan here. Let's see. We're going to call this Melaneaopolis to Sea City to Voidburg. Perfect. All right, and now last things to do here. Oh yes, also some people were pointing out some questions that they had here, and it does look like indeed for some reason I thought that you couldn't edit the selected vehicles while they were out of the depot. Not that I regret sending our things here, but yes, you can edit them out of the depot. For some reason, I had a mental block thinking that you had to send them to the depot in order to get access to the wrench, but such is not the case apparently. I don't know if they changed that in a patch or not, but regardless, we're going to add some passenger cars here. We're going to start you out kind of modest. You know what? Let's go with the 48. 48 seems to be our standard fare. So we're just going to add the Bavarian passenger cars to you, and we're going to send you on your merry way. Boop. And let's liquidate that last, unliquidate, the opposite of liquidate, that last little bit of loan here. And now we need to take a look-see at how this sort of dynamic line does. So now, yeah, this station over here, yeah, stop number 1 is this one over here. And you're going to be servicing the top half now. You just pulled in from there, from that. Oh wow, there's already some people going here, or queuing up for it. Fair enough. I will add more cars to the train as needed. Yeah, we don't need any signals on here because this train is literally the only ones using the tracks up in this neck of the woods. So we'll go from there. Oop, and already come on. Yep, thank you. Already paying back that loan down. Like I said, I am never shy about taking out loans when needed, but I'm also not shy about paying them back when they are not needed. Might as well keep them paid off when you don't need the cash to finish a project once you've finished one of your projects. All right, how's the Cameron Comet doing? 48 of 48, so that's good. Doesn't look like, yeah, it's not going to get a full load on the way back, but that's, I mean, you don't always get fully balanced load. As long as they're full on one leg of the journey and they're mostly full on the other one, I'm okay with that. We're still making bank with this thing. That upgrade was absolutely worth it. Now, obviously, this one's going to be our local money pit until, and yeah, here you can see the stop, but now there's people queuing up for different destinations here. Hey, we can chop it up and maybe make it a decoration, because it sure as heck ain't going to be doing anything useful for us. Next. Right then, so, wow, yeah, all right, we got some people going for Voidburg, and we got some people waiting for Melaneaopolis. How's Voidburg? What the heck? Oh yeah, so here's the other reason for this whole station line thing, is it adds a hook for the station to, well, hook onto. It's adding this line that says, oh, hey, here's another road here. And now it's like, oh, let's make this even more interconnected without having to, knock down some buildings. We are still 2 buildings down. I'm still unsure of why we lost sight of this one, but I'll take what I can get. And, missing 1 or 2 residential buildings, not the end of the world. Granted, they are a couple of the bigger ones. But that also saves us from the expense of having to do all this. How many people are queued up here? 41? Voidburg, I didn't even think you could fill one of these. I mean, you can't, not yet, but you're close. You're darn close. 42 of 48. Not too shabby. And yeah, Voidburg is going to grow. But yeah, look at that. Mediocre. Just from this train passing by, and it's probably this stupid one. Some Karen decided to move in right next to the railroads and is now sending in countless complaints. You should know how to build your house there, Razafrazin. These two right here are ruining it for everybody. Because this one, yeah, maybe this one would soak up a little bit of the noise, but it's these two that are really doing things. I'm not worried about it enough to spend the money for it, but just that simple pass through. But now you're going to see it's going to way back down because the train doesn't show up that often. And yeah, we're already up to 695, 702 destinations. And of course, Boydberg's 90 residents are getting added to everybody else's destination count. So JC City should be a little bit more connected now that we've direct connected Melaneaopolis. That will make it a little bit easier for JC City to hook up with Mount Aurelius and or Joshington when it comes to those passengers. How are we doing here? 63? Where's that train? Alright, you're coming here. 64, that's actually just spot on. Like, I wouldn't want to add another car to that. How are you doing? 48 of 48. And you're about to come back with 65. So you might be deserving of a new car soon. Just very, very soon. How's Melaneaopolis? Because if anyone... Yeah, 1,200. We're up to 60% bonus growth here because of this. Granted, we do have this penalty weighing on it, unfortunately, but soon enough we'll do something about that. Because actually, let's talk about noise. So here's the emissions layer. We can see on here what kind of emissions are wafting over to the residents. And yeah, first off, why are you guys building here? This is probably the other reason why they're complaining about this. But we can see the emissions at the mouse cursor here, and you know, when it's just that, but look at this. Look at the Dampftram. Look at the red trailing the Dampftram. That's not just because it's two trams behind each other. This thing is loud. Because yeah, see, as soon as the Dampftram leaves, it goes away. So it leaves this trail. Look how it thickens up the noise everywhere. This thing blasts out like a freaking foghorn. No wonder people complain about it. So that's why I'm a little bit leery. And you can see the kind of noise that a train puts out. These things are noisy AF, which is, again, being ruined more specifically by these two residences. And maybe a little bit by this, but these guys are fine. It's these residences that are ruining it for the town. And I am very, very half tempted to smush them. But I have bigger fish to fry at the moment. Ooh, a double repay. Not too shabby. Alright, so I'm going to let this cook for just a little bit, and we'll see. Holy crap. Yeah, Boydberg? Alright, maybe we're going to be needing to set these up. We're already up to 48 of 48 just going up here. Dang. That's pretty good. That's pretty darn good. That's better than I suspected. Alright. Well, in our next episode, we're gonna take a look at maybe making this its own dedicated line and buying some new engines. Actually, yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that in our next episode. So, if you guys like this episode and you want to see more like it, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave me a comment, good, bad, or indifferent. Your feedback is always welcome. So until next time, this has been Pinstar, signing out. See ya! I know some of you guys wanted to see the out-of-cabin view of the train ride at the end of the episode, so here you go. a minute. What do we have up here? It looks like a new tram. We'll be investigating this in our next episode. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. $291, not bad.